The final meeting of the Montgomery County Commission on Redistricting took place Wednesday evening. Now the action will pivot to the County Council, which will hold a public hearing regarding the new districts on November 18th. Sam, I'm going back to you because you were a member of the commission and you probably appreciate more than anyone else that the outcry for greater representation through the plebiscite that we went through came from the up county, where there are more conservatives there than down county areas, and they didn't feel that they were sufficiently represented on the county council. Has that changed?
I think it's changed dramatically. Excuse me. I think it's changed dramatically. At this point in time, there are two up-county districts, both from a rural perspective. So that means that those people in those jurisdictions are now going to have two representatives on the county council. That's a huge, huge difference, and will give those people the voice that they've asked for. And the same thing is applicable to the East County, where the same hue and cry has gone out of underrepresentation. They have now their own council person. I think that the maps were very, very fair. I think that obviously there was a lot of heated discussion of this very point, but in the end, it was a unanimous vote to send those maps to the county council. And I also want to tell every viewer that is watching this, only 50 people are going to be allowed to speak, and it's been posted. And I would suggest that if you want to weigh in on this, right now is the time to sign up to speak at the county council hearing.
Well, Phil, an impartial observer that I've spoke to, and who is a Democrat, longtime Democrat, actually has run for several offices in the county, told me that his opinion that the only thing that changed by adding two additional districts was to add two more Democrats to the council because of the way the voting precincts have been adjusted. Did the commission come up with a fair plan?
Well, first of all, I haven't had a chance to look at the districts yet, but here's what I'm going to say. And this is an important tipping point as far as Montgomery County is concerned and the level of partisanship. Democrats have been rotten for years. This is probably not a good approach. However, it's time for Republicans to do something that we have not done in a long time, which is make an effort to change minds to our side, especially in places like Montgomery County. I'm tired of hearing all the protestations. The lines are bad. There's going to be fraud. It's raining. It's too sunny. All of the other stuff that comes along. If we take this opportunity to go out, particularly after what's happened during the last year, and talk about what we believe in and why people should give us a chance and start these races with the expectation of winning, not the expectation of being a sacrificial lamb or losing, then maybe it may not be successful in this upcoming election, but down the road, if we keep up that intensity, we will have parity with the Democrats and be able to draw future lines in ways that are more acceptable. And that is something, and I say that with all due respect to the folks in the Montgomery GOP, many of whom are good friends and work hard, but that's the attitude we have to have. And then these lines aren't going to matter.
Well, Sam, I hope you're right. Each district has approximately the same number of people. What is it, 150,000 voters per district, and hopefully that they'll produce a more balanced outcome. But there are some anomalies in the lines as to why North Bethesda has been cut out of District 1, or what used to be District 1. So I think there's some questions as to how the lines were certainly drawn.
Well, Casey, let's come back to Phil's point which is very, very important. First of all, Phil, I absolutely agree with you. In fact, I wish you were chair of the Montgomery County GOP, because my mantra has always been, you need to have good candidates to win a race, period. In the county, when you look at the redistricting committee, the plurality was 4 Democrats, 2 Republicans, 4 independents, a libertarian, and a member of the Green Party, which is reflective of the vote in Montgomery County. And the plurality is there between the Democrats and the independents. Those are the folks who elect our officials. And the growth has been more towards the independents, less towards the Democrats. And the Republicans have more or less remained stagnant. So, do the 2 districts favor a Democrat? Well, yes, they do. They favor the Democrat because there's more independents and Democrats running for the race. Does that make it fair? If you have a great candidate, as Phil said, I think a good candidate can win. This is no different than Nancy Dasik or Dennis or Connie Morella. I mean, it was great. Now,
Sam, I'm going to cut you off. Here's the problem. The problem is, you may be correct about the numerical turnout of individuals in Montgomery County between Republican, Democrats, and independents. But the fact is, the Democratic primary is a rubber stamp for the general election, and that just needs to change. I mean, it's overwhelmingly, we know that when Mark Elrich won the Democratic primary over David Blair in the last executive race, that it would be impossible to defeat him. I mean, this is the problem. The independents aren't really independent. They're really just Democrats who don't want to be engaged.
well, that brings up a very interesting point. And I want to make it perfectly clear that the Mark Elrich campaign is not asking people to change their party affiliation in a primary. We are absolutely against that. But what people can do in the Democratic primary to make a difference is, and this applies to independents and Republicans and the other two parties, what they can do is pick a candidate who they would like to see in the general election and volunteer for that candidate, work for that candidate. You don't have to vote for them, but you certainly could work for the candidate and make a difference. And that's what I would recommend, including the Republicans. They can pick a candidate who they would like to see, no matter who that candidate is, work for that candidate and make a difference.
We got to go to wrap, but I'm going to ask Phil an exit question. If you were chairman of the Montgomery County Central Republican Committee, would you recommend that all Republicans register as Democrats for the primary election for county executive?
Heck no.
10 seconds. Yes or no?
No. Not just no, but hell no.
I think they all should register and vote out the bums, because it's the primary where they're going to have to do it.